please ping me all your mail IDs on my mobile number or else WhatsApp so that I'll share it. Okay. The next we'll try to discuss today is the file permissions. Hope you, if you have already understand, if you know already the Linux, yes, you can easily understand that file permissions. If not, we'll try to learn now. Let us say yesterday we have created some files, right? Okay, we have created a file 1. If you want to list the file in detail, you can see that file 1. Okay, the file 1 having a permissions, some permissions. Okay, yes, at 2nd October we have created it, and the file name is, okay, file 1. Okay, the file name is file 1, and if you see that permissions of that particular file, first we need to understand who is the owner and who is the group of that particular file. Suppose when you created any user, right? When you add any user, the user should be in one particular group. The user should be in one particular group. Now, if you suppose, let us say I want to add a user. Okay, user add. I say user add. I say username is Raghu. Okay, fine. When I add a user called Raghu, yesterday we observed that there is a one folder called etc. All your configuration of system configuration files will be stored over here. In that, there will be a file called etc passwords. So I want to open that file. How can we open? With the more password. I want to open password file. Okay, just wd pass wd. Here all the your user details will be kept over here. See that here there is a user called Raghu. Okay, if you observe that user details, it is username called Raghu. The user ID is this particular one, group ID is this one, and the every user has a home directory, right? In a directory called home, it has created one more directory called Raghu. By default, it is created. That is for home directory of Raghu, and it has given a bash shell to him. Okay, what is a bash shell? Why it is given? We'll try to understand it after some time. So we'll also see what is a group it is assigned. Okay, let us say there is a one file called more group. So there is a file called group. Here you see that it is also created one group called Raghu. Group ID is 502. Group ID is 502. If you see the password, the Raghu has assigned to a group called 502. That means when you created a user called Raghu, by default it has created a group called Raghu. If you didn't assign that user to any of the group, okay, by default it will assign one group called his own on its name. Okay, by default it will create a user name that Raghu, as well as it will create a group name called Raghu, and it will assign that user to that particular group. Okay, in that way it will work. So okay, now the user also, now if you see that particular file, okay, now if you see that particular file, if you see this particular file, this file level, the user is root, and also group is also root. This user is also in a group called root. When it is created on 2nd October at this particular time, the file name is this one. That is last modified is it created at this particular time and modified at this particular time, and you can see that what is the file name. Okay, then what are the permissions we have? The permissions on this particular file, okay, you can see that there is a read, write, read. These three types of permissions. Okay, there are three types of permissions are there. First, let us understand that. Okay, we have three types of permissions. One is read, write, and execute. In a Linux environment, we have three types of permissions. Okay, generally, these permissions, they also have given a numerical expression for that. Read, they'll okay, represent it as a 4. For write, they'll give 2, and execute, they'll represent it as 1. Okay, they have a three types of permissions: read, write, and execute. The read, they'll represent. You can also say that R instead of 4. You can also represent it as R. You can also represent it as W. You can also represent it as X, or else 4 to 1. In a whichever way you want to, you can create. Okay, fine. I have given these permissions. You have these type of permissions. Also, in your Linux environment, we have a user. Suppose you created the file. Who created that user is nothing but you, the owner. Owner, then group, then others. Suppose Shiva is created file. Shiva is into a group called, okay, testing group. Rest of all of us, you, me, and everything, whoever it is, those are all others. Now, Shiva has created a file called test dot something file, java dot test, java c dot px. Okay, some Java class file is created, some Java program is created. After that, he tested that and make it as java c dot txt file. Who created it? Shiva. Then who is the owner of this particular file? Shiva. Who is the owner of that particular file? Okay, the file group. Who is the owner of that particular file group? Testing. Rest of all are in other mode, right? Rest of all are other mode. Let us say who created Raghu in this case. We have a Raghu user. So in that way, let us say sudo, sorry, su, and then switch user Raghu. Now I am in a Raghu user. Let us say touch is a command to create a empty files, null files. I am creating a file called java.txt. Okay, it says that okay. It is in a root directory, you cannot create it. I'm going to my home directory so that I can create it. Okay, now here I can create it. Why? Because no one will stop on it. It is my home directory. See that is the difference. Okay, that is the difference. In your directory, yes, you can create it, but in a root directory, you cannot create it as you are not a root user, right? Why? Because you are not a root user. Just a minute. చెప్పండి. పంపించినాము కదా. Yes. So if you see that present working directory, I'm in a Raghu user home directory, so I can able to create the file. Let us say ls-lrt over here. See that there is a Java file. Owner of that particular file is Raghu. By default, Raghu is in a user group called Raghu group, so that even the Raghu group also got permissions. But what type of permissions he got, that we try to understand. Okay. In general, there will be a, see that they have given read write in the notation read write way, right? We'll try to understand that. Okay. Whenever I created a username called Raghu with a Raghu user, now owner is Raghu and group is also Raghu, rest of all are others. Now by default you can see that read write execute for owner, read write execute for group, read write execute for others. Now what the permissions we got over for group, okay, for owner got read write permissions. For group also got read write permissions. For others they have given only read permissions. Now you see that other whoever it is, they can read only, they can read the file. Okay, Raghu as well as the group name called Raghu, whoever it is, the people, they can read as well as they can write it. But they cannot execute it. If it is a, suppose some software files you kept in it, or else you created it as a shell script, you cannot execute that particular file. Why? Because you don't have permissions. You don't have a permissions on it. Suppose let us make this one as a executable. Okay, how can we make it as executable? Everyone, if I add X over here, others can execute. If I add X over here, the group people can execute. If I add X over here, the user can execute it. But how can I add it? X. There are different ways you can add it. That means to edit the permissions, we have a command called chmod. Chmod means change the modifications, that means change permissions on that particular file. Okay, we have a, see that the numerical expressions we have 4, 2, 1, right? 4 is nothing but you can give a read permissions. 2 means write permissions. 1 means execute permissions. If I add these 3, I can give 7. 7 is the owner, 7 is a group, 7 is the others. If I given this one, everyone will get full permissions. Let us say chmod 777 on java.txt. Now you say ls-lrt. Now you see that everyone got full permissions. Everyone got full permissions. Instead of that, I want to give everyone only read-only permissions. Okay, everyone have read write. Okay, except owner, I want to give full permissions. Okay, owner got 7. Everyone want to read as well as execute. That means 4 plus 1, 5, 5. That means only owner can read, write and execute. Rest of all, it may be group people, it may be others, can read and execute it. Okay, let us see now. Now only read, write, execute permissions given to owner, and read index rx. That means others can, it may be group people, it may be whoever it is, they can have only the execute permissions. Is that clear? Is that clear? How can we change the permissions of the file? Now suppose I want to change the ownership permissions itself. Okay, either group or, okay, there is a command called chown. Chown is a command to change ownership of the file. Let us say I don't want to give I don't want to give it Raghu as a owner. I want to give it as a root as a owner. Root, as well as group also I want to maintain it as a root. On which file? java.txt. ch own. Changing all the versions. Not permitted. Why? Okay. I'm in the user only. Let me check who am I. I'm a repo user. Okay, how can we use this? Okay, ch own, which user you want to give ownership, who is the group of that, and file name. With this way we can, okay, this man command will help you to understand like how can we use it, okay, how to use that particular command. It will tell you. If you want to come out of this, you can just press Q. Okay. I can say ch, okay, maybe you don't have a permissions on that. Okay, to execute ownership on, okay, ch own command, you don't have a permissions. Okay. Let us see how can we give a permissions, all those things we can see. As of now, I'll try to exit from here. I have to give the password for that. I didn't give any password to that. Now let us say I'll go to /home/raghu. I have a file called this. Now ch own, I say root :root. I'm changing the permissions of both a user owner as well as the group. Now you can see ls-lrt. Now you see you have changed that owner as well as group permissions, group as root. In that way we can what Jagdish, what is analyze? Jagdish, anything you want to say? So in this way we can change the ownership and group permissions. Now let us understand some comparison of shells. We try to understand, okay, what are the shells we have and what is the use of that, all those things we try to understand. Okay. We have a different shells like sh shell, okay, that is Bourne shell, C shell, corn shell. Okay, there are bash shell. There are a number of shells are available. Okay, most of the time we'll use a bash shell. We try to understand bash scripting. Okay, how can we use that? Okay, we try to understand all the things in a scripting understanding way, so that we can learn both the things in a simultaneously. Okay. Okay, suppose which shell you are using. You want to know there is a number of shells, right? Okay, which shell you are using. You can say echo. Echo is nothing but it will print whatever you say. It's just a echo hi. Okay, I can say sorry ECH. Just I say echo hi. That means whatever you want to print on a screen, you can give with the command called echo. Okay. Let us say I want to print which shell you are using. You can say dollar shell, so that it is saying that you are using a bash shell. Okay, all the binaries are located in bin bash. In a bin bash it is located. You want to know, okay, you want to know which bash version you are using. Bash, you can see that your okay, bash version as well. Okay. Generally we use a shell to signify that particular shell. It may be bash, it may be cron, whatever it is. Okay, we try to deal with the shell. So let us start with a small program critical approach. We'll try to create a small hello world program kind of thing, and we can see that. Okay. Before going to that, let me tell you some basic commands to work with any particular program. We can have a ls command to list all the files. We have a pwd command to check the present working directory. Okay, I'll share you the command list as well, don't worry. And we have a mkdir to create a directory. Suppose I want to create a directory called test, you can say mkdir test. Okay, you want to go into that particular directory, cd test. Now you can see that pwd present working directory where you are in a test directory. Okay, in this way you can create a directory and you can check it. Suppose let us create, if you want to create an empty file, you can create touch. Let us say I want to create a hello world.sh. Hello.sh. Why I am giving sh? You need not to give .sh. That is not a mandatory. To understand it is a shell script. We are giving the extension of .sh. Okay, that is up to you. You want to give it or not. That is up to you. Okay, but generally the standard format is they'll give an extension as .sh so that everyone can understand it is a shell script. Okay, touch is a command to create an empty files. Okay, now the file you can see that ls-lrt with hello.sh. It has created an empty file. See that how much KBs it is occupying? It is 0 KB. Not exactly the touch command. Not only create empty files, it will change the timestamp as well. Now let us say I want to create again touch hello.sh. If you do that again, it will not change anything. Just it will change the timestamp. You see that it is 8.5. Now it is created. It is changed timestamp at as 8.6. If already file is there, it will change the timestamp. That means whenever it is okay, it will try to go and touch it. By touching it, it will change the time. If it is not there, that particular file, it will create a new file, empty file, nullify. Okay. Suppose I want to copy the content of your hello world to some other file. So what I can do, I can say cp hello world.sh to something by.sh. Okay, I want to copy this command. What it does, it will use to copy one file into the other file. That way we can copy it. Just you can say this particular command. It will copy the files from one file to other file. Suppose, okay, if you see that there is a there is a by.sh, right? ls-lrt by.sh. You can see that just we have created at 8.7. In Windows we'll try to rename it, right? Sometimes we rename it. If you want to rename it, yes, we can rename it. In a Unix we have a command like mv, move command. Move command, what it does, suppose I say by.sh, I want to move it to welcome.sh. So what happens? It will rename your buy.sh to welcome.sh. Now let us say we list that buy.sh. We don't have such file. Instead of that, we have a welcome.sh. We will print all the sh files, whatever it is. Let us say star.sh. We want to print all the sh files. See that there is a one file called H7 level. We have created one by welcome.sh. We didn't created a welcome.sh, but what we did, we moved it from buy.sh to welcome.sh. So it has created a new file. That means it is renamed it as buy.sh to the welcome.sh. Just rename the file. Here, in this way, we can rename it. Okay, fine. Then if you want to list all the detailed information about the file, we can run ls-lrt, or else you can also say just ll. It will give you all the long list. You can say just say ll. It will give you all the long list. Suppose in Unix or Windows, if you want to see hidden files, if you want to see the hidden files, see whatever it is starting with dot, whatever it is starting with dot, those are all hidden files. Let us say I want to go into the directory called test, so that we'll try to do all the operations for you. We'll have a clear picture. Okay. Let us say touch welcome dot. Just I created one welcome.sh folder here, file over here. Now you want to move it to the hidden file. Okay, how can we move it as, how can I make it as a hidden file? I can say move welcome.sh to .welcome.sh. Whenever you say dot before any file, that is nothing but hidden files. You can see that you cannot see any file over here. If you want to see hidden files, you can put A over here. You can put A. A means it will show you the hidden files. The hidden file here is .welcome.sh. In Windows also you can see the hidden files, right? If you go and say view level, if you say show hidden files, it will show you all the hidden files in your Windows as well. Okay. In a Unix, either Unix or Windows, if you created any file with a starting with a dot, that is nothing but a hidden file. If you want to see hidden files in a Windows, you have to go to the view section. Okay, let me show you in a Windows. Okay, in a Windows there will be an option called view. Okay, here it is a view. You can say that hidden items. If you say hidden items, if you want to show it, yes, you can say show hidden items. Otherwise, if you disable it, you cannot see hidden files. Okay, in this way we can say hidden files. If you want to remove any file, you can say rm remove. Suppose I want to delete okay, this particular hidden file. You can say yes. If you say rm.sh, now you see that ls-al, you don't have any files now. Welcome.sh is deleted. Copy cp, copy command, move command, mv command. Okay, remove rm command. Okay, these are all the basic commands we discussed now. Okay. Is it clear? Now let us okay, we'll try to understand both the Linux commands as well as the shell scripting in a simultaneously, so that you can learn both the things in a single day. Okay, now just we created, okay, let us say I want to create a, okay, Okay, hello.sh here. Okay, so what I do, okay, I'll edit that particular hello.sh, and I say one thing here. I'll explain you why I am writing all these things. Okay, I say hash exclamatory mark, then I say bin slash bash. I'm using a bash shell here. Why I'm writing, I'll tell you this. I can say this is command line. I can say echo hello world. Okay, ls date present working directory, whatever. A shell script is nothing but sequentially executing the Linux commands in one single file. You are putting all the Linux commands in a single file and you are executing sequentially top to bottom. Suppose you want to do a regular some tasks. Okay, instead of running all the commands, what you can do is put all the commands in one single file and execute it so that you will get the result. Okay, so first we'll try to understand what is the first line. Okay, we have given hash exclamatory mark bin bash, what it is. That line they called as shebang line. Shebang line is nothing but, okay, shebang line is nothing but you are specifying which shell you want to use. Okay, we are telling that this shell uses to call whatever the commands we use a bin slash bash. Just we have seen that, right, where bash is installed located slash bin slash bash. So I am using a bash shell. Execute these commands in a bash shell kind of thing. In the first line you have to specify the shebang which shell you want to execute. The next line also we have given hash. After first line, wherever you kept hash, that is line will be ignored. Okay? That line will be ignored. It will not execute. That they call it as commenting. Commenting is nothing but just to understand. Okay, suppose you are writing a program to do some tasks. How other users will come to know what this particular script will do. We have to write in that particular appropriate area. Okay, just we have to say in a comment. Okay, let us say here I'll try to write one more thing. I say here, okay, date command will print, it will print, okay, current date. So this line it will ignore, it will not execute that. Okay, but it is for understanding other users who are reading this, who are using this script. When they open, okay, they'll come to know, okay, they are using this date command, okay, because it will execute that, it will print the date. Okay, just commenting is nothing but comment that line to understand other users what exactly you are doing, so that they can also understand. Okay, now let us save this file. How can we save that? Escape wq exclamatory mark enter. Okay, now we can execute this shell in a different way. Let us say ls-lrt first. Does anyone having execute permissions on this particular file? Does anyone having execute permissions on this particular file? No, right? There is no X on here. Read, write, read, read. No one having execute permissions. Right? Isn't it? So we have to give the execute permissions. But you can execute this script in a different way. Suppose you want to execute in a bash. You have not given any particular shell to execute. I can say I want to execute in bash. I can say bash hello.sh. See that? Okay, it is saying that it is hello world. Okay, it is hello.sh. Something date is this particular one. Root.test. Why this root.test came? 1 minute. Present directory. Okay, I've given pwd, right? That's why it is given. It is you are in a, see that pwd. You are in a root.test. In that way, you can directly say that bash. Okay. If you have no permissions, also you can directly say. Okay, you can execute it. Right? You see that more bash.sh. This date command print, it will print the date kind of thing. It is not shown on screen. What it is shown, it is given directly date command. Why it is not shown? We have commented out the date command, print date. It will whatever the comments we have given, that is we have commented out. That's why it is not executed. Is that clear? Okay. But okay, if there is a one more way. People will not use bash to execute in that way. You want to give a proper permissions on that particular file to users. Let us say ls-lrt hello.sh. Okay. Now no one having a permissions. You change the permissions with the call chmod. If I given 777, everyone will get full permissions. If I want to give 755, the users and others and group people will get write as well, read as well as execute permissions. They cannot change it. They cannot edit that script. If I give okay, only 5 means 4 plus 1, 5. 4 is read, 1 is execute. They can execute or else they can read that file. They cannot edit it. Okay, on which file? I can say hello.sh. In this way you can give. Or else I want to give, okay, let it be the whatever the permission. Now I want to add one more permission called execute for everyone. I can say plus X. On which file? Hello.sh. For this particular file, it will add one more permission to everyone, that is execute permissions. In this way also you can say that. Okay, just I represented, right? You can represent even in a name or else number, a character or else number. Suppose I want to give only others. Okay, I don't want to give everyone to execute it. I want to give only, suppose you can represent in a U is nothing but user, G is nothing but group, okay, O is nothing but others. Suppose I want to give only to others, I can say in this way. Let us say first I want to give everyone plus X. Now you can see that ls-lrt. See that everyone added that X permission, right? X. Right? In this way we can add permissions to that. Now execute permission is added to that particular server, that particular file. Now once you got a permissions, if it is you are in a local directory, okay, you can say directly I am in a local directory. Whenever you are representing your local directory, you can say dot. Dot is nothing but local. I want to execute hello.sh. Okay. How can we execute? You can say that. Okay. In a local directory, there is a file called hello.sh. I want to execute dot slash then the file name, the script name, so that it will execute. Whatever the commands you kept in that particular file, it will execute in a sequential manner. Is that clear, guys? Okay, let us have some questions over here. If you have any doubts or any questions, you can ask me. I think it is very basic things we are discussing. Still, if you have any issues, just let me know. Jagdish, Purnachandra, Shiva, Shravya. No questions? Do you want me to continue? Bhavan? One, two, three, four, five. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Okay. Let us continue. Okay. In this way, we can execute a script. We can change the permissions in a different way. Either numerical one, you can give a, or else you can say the characters. Okay. Okay, let us edit some more things for our script. I can say vi hello.sh. In general, okay, if you are writing anything, you can give the comment over here so that people can understand that what you are by doing this. I can say comment over here so that it will not read by shell, but to understand other people. List all the local files. Okay, so people can understand that what exactly this command do, or else what exactly you are doing over there. Okay, it print the date. Okay, print the present working directory. Okay, in this way, if you write it, so that okay, other people also come to know that okay, what exactly you are doing. So the best practice is whenever you are writing the script, you have to give all your details. Who is writing the script? Okay, let's say this is, I can say the script name is something, and what is the purpose of this, who created it, all those things. So suppose written by, okay, what purpose they have written. Okay, all those things, if you write it, that would be a best practice. Okay, let us do one thing over here. I say echo, instead of saying that hello world, let us say here dollar, I can say log name. Let us see what it happens now. Log name, have a good day. Okay. Let me save this and we'll execute the same command. Who logged in actually? Who am I? Root, right? So the dollar log name is nothing but whoever logged in, that name. Hello log name. Okay, it may be a test, it may be root, it may be Raghu, whoever it is. If you execute that, okay, the dollar log name will print that particular user name. Okay, here it is, in this case it is printing the root. It is printing the root. Hello, hi root, hello root, have a good day. Okay, why it is printing hello.sh again? Let me open that file. I have a good day. ls means it is listing the file. There is a one file called hello.sh. That's why it is listed. Date, next it is printed the date. Present working directory, this one. Any doubt in this? Okay, we try to learn what is log name, all those things we try to understand in a way. Okay, whenever you write any program, okay, we have to learn two things. One is compilation, one is interpreter. Okay, using compile based language, if you see that any C, C++, Java, any other similar languages, we use that compilation. Okay. Okay, if you are using any shell script, we use an interpreter. Shell is an interpreter. Okay, shell is an we need not to do any compilation over here. Okay. What Purna? Any question? Do you want me to unmute? Yeah, Purna, you ask your question and we'll go for.
Yeah, well, I'm just testing a script with a test. And when I'm running with sh hello.sh, even I given the commands which I ran in my screen.
You put that echo test in the echo test some in that script.
Yeah,
okay.
in single quotes it's working. It's printing that whatever the output what I am expecting while using the sh hello.sh. And at the same way I give / hello.sh. It's asking me the permission denied. Anyway, it doesn't have the execute permissions to anyone.
Yeah, make it executable and execute it.
Okay, but .sh with sh it's running without executing.
Yeah, you are directly
permission.
You are directly saying that which shell script you are using.
Okay.
Okay, but in this case we are using user permissions.
Okay.
So that give the right user permission, give the right user permission, and then execute it.
Okay.
Change the user permission with the sex kind of thing, then you execute it.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just trying it.
Yeah, let us go forward.
Sure.
We are using interpreter in shell scripting to compile anything. Okay, we don't use compile word here. We say interpreter. Okay. In general, if you use a compile based languages, we'll compile that program whatever you write in the source code, and once you got a result, okay, we try to execute that binary file. Okay, in that way they go forward, but we don't require here to compile and all those things. Okay. It is a bit easy to write any scripts. It is very easy to debug. It will save the time to development and all. You don't require any additional tools or any other ID is required to execute this shell scripts. Directly you can write and execute over here itself. You don't require any other tools. Right? Let us use some. We have seen that some directories, all those things yesterday, bin, roots, all those things. Now we'll try to work with more shell scripts. You can use man command to go through all the man commands, whatever you want. Okay, all the commands will be available with a man. Okay, you can go through it. Okay. Suppose you want to get to know any particular file or any particular command details, you can say that what is chmod. Okay, it will change that, change the file modes, change the permissions of the file, change the mode of the file. What ls does? What is ls? This directory contains, the directory contains whatever the files or directories are there in that directory, it will list it. Right? Suppose you want to know where exactly my command is located. Okay, you can say where is ls. The ls is located in these directories, or else you can say which ls. It is located in bin ls. So let us say I want to select, I want to know where that exactly password file is located, which password. It is located in usr bin password. Okay, you can use a where is or else which to know where exactly it will be located. If you want to know who you are, to which username you have logged in, you can say who am I root. If you run this one, who am I, it will tell you from which user you have logged in as. Okay, the previous user. Suppose you logged in as a Raghu and you changed it to root. Now you are in a root. If you say directly who am I, it will tell you that to root. If you given a space between them, it will tell you Raghu. You logged in as a Raghu, but you changed it to root now. In that way. Okay, let us say now we are in a root. Okay, I say su Raghu. Who am I? Raghu, right? If I say who am I? Root. From the root user you came to Raghu. The previous user is root. Now present user is Raghu. In that way also you can check it. Right? SU means switch user. If you can switch to any other user whenever you want. If you have a password, then you can exit means it will execute that particular user profile and will come back to the previous user profile. Okay. Exit means it will exit that particular user profile. Suppose there is a command called alias. What it does? Suppose you want to create a new command, your own command from the existing commands. Some commands are very complex. Suppose you don't want to use that, so you can use alias command. Suppose there is a command called date. If you give the date, it will give you the date. Okay, entire date. Suppose I don't want to maintain the date, just I want to write D. You can say alias, okay, D equals to date. Okay, you can say D equals to date. Now you say D. Now you can say directly D. Now alias who am, okay, I'll say okay, user equals to who am I. Now you say user. If you want to create an alias, suppose you want to create one more new command with the help of the existing commands. Okay, you can say just who alias, and then you can create one new command with that. Is that clear? Sometimes, okay, suppose I say, mm, sometimes there will be a, suppose you say you want to copy something, CP. Whenever you say CP, they might have given some other commands for that. It is not working properly. Then you can check, okay, what are the aliases on your machine? Okay, you can check alias. Okay, you can see that there are some in your command. Okay, see, if I say CP, it is directly using a command called cp-i. Sometimes it may not work in your machine. If you want to copy something, okay, every time every time it will ask you yes or no, yes or no kind of thing. So I don't want to do all these things. Okay, directly I want to copy it. Okay, you can say unalias. If you don't want to execute that command, okay, if you say unalias d, so it will remove that alias. Suppose user is, okay, who am I is there. Now you want to unalias, yes, you can say unalias user, so that it will break that relationship between that one. If you just run alias, it will tell you what are the aliases are there in your machine. I say just unalias. Okay, I say D. Now you can say, okay, alias. Is there any D? No, the D is deleted now. Previously we said that whenever say D, you can print the date command. Now that is deleted. Okay. When you want to check about operating system, what is the operating system you are using? Okay. All the details you can say just uname. Uname. It says that, okay, what operating system you are using. You are using a Linux command. Linux operating system. Suppose which kernel you are using. If I say -r, it will tell you which revision, like kernel version, which kernel version you are using. Okay, the operating system will maintain on kernel, right? The kernel version will give you in this way. Okay. If you want to get entire your system details, you can say -a. It will tell you entire system details, like which operating system it is, what is the time, who are logged in, what is the kernel version, everything. If you want to know, you can say just uname -a. It will give you all the details. Right? Is that clear? Okay, try to practice all these things today, and tomorrow we'll see some other advanced shell script things. Like, so we'll go in deep and we'll work on this. Is that okay for today? Shall we stop here? Okay, these are all the basic commands. I'll share you all the lab guide as well as the video in a while. Okay, just all of you ping me your mail IDs. Okay, so that, okay, I try to add in either Google Drive or else YouTube link. You can access over there. Okay, thanks for attending. See you tomorrow for rest of the class. Okay, bye.